Hey everybody, it's JP from BigSexyBeast.com, and this is going to be a gear review of my Makita XCU06 electric chainsaw. So let's get into it, and I'll tell you all the things about it that I like, what I don't like, and what my impressions are now that I've ran it for about 5 hours. About an electric chainsaw. I had a lot of work to do here on the adventure property, White Oak Adventure Lodge here in Arkansas, and I was concerned that this chainsaw might not be up to the task clearing trails for long periods of time. But the things that were appealing about it to me is, for start, we hit our button there, and you're ready to go, and it seems like it's got quite a bit of power. Right now I have the 5 amp hour 18 volt Makita battery on here. I have used it with my smaller drill battery when this battery wasn't charged, and it did work, but it did not last very long doing that. So this guy, you just recharge these Makita batteries. They come on and off right here. You do still have to put bar oil in these, and it goes in just like a regular chainsaw right here. As you can see, I've got a little bit of bar oil down in there right now. One thing I have noticed about this, like I said, I'm about 4 or 5 hours worth of continuous use on this thing, is that you don't seem to leak bar oil quite as much as you do with a gas chainsaw. It seems to be fairly efficient in its use of it. I'm starting to get grass and things like that back in there. Hadn't been a problem yet, but eventually I'll probably have to pull this guard off and clean out inside there. Notice my chain's a little loose right now. I got to tension that back up. It's just stretching because this is breaking in and such, brand new chain. So let's take a look at a couple of the dimensions of this thing. Well, the first thing that everybody's going to be interested in is how long is the bar. And so it's about 9 inches, if you can see that, 9-inch bar on the chainsaw. And I've cut things that are probably in the 5 to 6 inch range. It seems to make it through quite well when it's fresh, when you're first using it. Most of my use cases for this are I've got a small tree that's across the road where I'm 4-wheel driving, or I'm walking and I'm clearing a trail and I want to take the branches off of something that's blocking a trail to make a pathway through the woods here for the Adventure Lodge. One of the cool things about this is you can absolutely one-hand this guy. So it makes it really easy to get the things that are over your head and just, you know, back in there where you don't really want to wade into the bush as much. So it's pretty easy to maneuver, pretty lightweight. I'd say that it's in the 5-6 pound range, maybe a little bit more with the battery on. Each battery, I would say a 5 amp hour battery like that, you get about an hour of use. I think they say 150 to 165 cuts. I haven't sat around and counted the cuts. I've more so counted the time that I've been using it. And it does. I get about an hour consistently on one of these batteries. So if you're going to be doing more than an hour, you obviously want to carry more than one battery with you. I believe this right here is where you can control the flow of oil to the chain, so you can dial it up and dial it down. I just left it set it as factory default. It's got a safety brake on it like a regular chainsaw. Interestingly, they included this as an optional piece, and so obviously when you're cutting through a bigger tree, this allows you to kind of push that tree up against those teeth and hold it in place. I put it on because I couldn't really imagine a situation where I might not want that on there, but they do include it as an optional. When you get it shipped to you, it comes apart and it's pretty easy to put together. This cover comes off. They send you a wrench. You just put the bar on and tension the chain and then you're good to go. The other thing you might be interested in is overall length of this thing. So our overall length is only about 18.5 or 19 inches long, and it is about 8 or so inches tall, a little under 8 inches tall. And so the nice thing about that is it's easy to put in places. I can imagine it would even go behind the seat in a pickup truck, clearly go in the cargo area of a van. Where I'm going to keep it is going to be inside this box here. As I mentioned, I've cut bigger trees, probably 6 to 7 inches with it. Haven't cut a lot that size. Most of them have been down already, so I wouldn't say I fell a tree that's 6 or 7 inches. Most of my stuff, again, is cleaning up little saplings or things like that, or cutting something that's down off the road. I did notice in my last using, when I was doing quite a bit of trail work with this, I'd ran one full battery down. I went and I got a second battery, and I was working on my second battery. And on my second battery, about 35 minutes in, so it'd be about an hour and 35 minutes worth of continuous use, I suspect the electric motor was starting to get hot because it started to be very intermittent in my ability to use it. What happens when it becomes intermittent, if you see here, when I turn this thing on, you get a green light here. It's ready to go. As this thing gets hot, or as the battery starts to get very low, this light will actually turn to red and the tool will not turn on. And so I suspect what was happening to me is after an hour and 35 minutes of continuous use, the motor had gotten hot. There was some sort of thermal sensor in here that shut the device down. Great for protecting the chainsaw, great for protecting the batteries. Not so great when you've got 2 or 3 hours worth of work to do and you've only got an hour and 35 minutes worth of chainsaw without stopping to let it cool down. I will note that this whole time we've been here at the property in Arkansas, the ambient temperature is between 95 degrees and 103 degrees with a heat index really hot, 103, 107, 108. And so the ambient temperature is pretty hot here. So this thing is definitely heat soaked to begin with. Maybe that's contributing a little bit to kind of the thermal overload that I'm seeing. But I do want to call that out, that if you've got a lot of continuous use, this may not be your guy. What I'm seeing is that for intermittent use, trees down across the road, hey, I need to get out of the woods, I need to go clear a trail out of the four-wheel drive trail, or I want to clear some limbs back so that they're not going to scratch my vehicle as I go by, or I just need to cut up some firewood around the camp for tonight. This is perfect for that use case. Super lightweight, super easy to use. The thing I have to remind myself, because it is so small and it is so lightweight, I have to keep in my mind, it is still a chainsaw. And I think all the safety rules of using a chainsaw absolutely have to still apply. And you have to think about it because it's not lightweight and loud and all the things you would expect from a chainsaw. So gloves, glasses, boots, long pants, although sometimes I haven't run it with long pants, but I would advise you to treat it like a chainsaw because it really is still a chainsaw and you could get hurt with it like you really would a chainsaw. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you found it helpful. I do recommend this device for the things that I talked about, probably not your long-term continuous use. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, click that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so that when we post other gear reviews or other adventures, you get notified of it. Thanks for coming along with us.